Hey listeners, thanks again for tuning in to yet another episode of The Conversation here at Mccurdy's Comedy Theater. Today, Les and I got to sit down with the very, very funny Vinnie Ward and Chris Cope. We got to talk about all sorts of things. The conversation starts off a little weird, but I think it's pretty funny, so I kept it in. We talk about comedy and old people and conspiracy theories. So, hope you enjoy it. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to the conversation.
Hit me up on IG, wanted pictures of my feet, wasn't giving me money for it. And I was like, blocked?
I would have sent it.
Nah, man. I won't do dirty stuff. Like, even if it's not dirty, it still makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, but how can they ever...
And he lowballed me.
How much was he offering?
$200.
That's good. For one picture of your feet?
No, he wanted like 10 or 15. And I was like, not for that much.
Different angles and shit?
Different ankles. I was like, you want the one that's more swollen? This is the one that was on
All right,
Gray's.
so what if he would have said one picture?
One picture for 200.
Bro, you could dig probably and find a picture.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I just was like, nope, creepy. Sorry, I'm done.
Let somebody ask me that shit. I'll send you pictures of my butthole for 200.
Here's
You're getting this.
Yeah, I'm getting it.
Here's your brown eyes, sir.
Just B-roll.
Yeah, it's more like B-hole roll. Still got
Here.
caught in a trap.
All right.
Whoa.
That
Loose.
happens to me your age, doesn't it?
Mccurdy's Comedy Theater. McCurdy, hey. Take 3. Mccurdy's Comedy Theater. Conversation. We're in the green room, backstage, just like always. Just our conversation. Sitting here. Vinnie Ward, been here before.
Yes, sir.
There he is. That's the voice. When you hear that, you know it's Vinnie Ward. Then there's a guy I hadn't done our podcast yet, but he's been here before. Chris Cope, and he's over here
Hello.
laid back in the big chair.
I'm enjoying myself. I'm very comfortable. I had a nicer shirt in my car, but that's in my car. I don't want to get up and walk.
Well, what is that?
Captain America.
Captain America.
Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
You can't get any more pro-female right now.
There's a Captain Marvel, but it's a woman on the front.
Yeah.
Markle.
Captain Marvel.
Marvel.
Captain Merkel is a hilarious.
Merkel.
Captain Merkel was a guy in the Navy stationed my grandfather.
Yeah.
He was in Iwo Jima.
It's a Sarasota fucking superhero
Yeah.
if I've ever
Yeah. I'm Captain Markle.
He's out there with
man.
like one of those radar detector things looking for like gold on the beach still.
Yeah, right.
I've always wanted to do that.
I know.
Because you think you're going to hit the 5-year-old in you is like you're going to hit treasure.
I had a friend of mine that loved doing it, and you know why one of the things he loved about it? Nobody talks to you
Oh, because I think you're creepy.
because you got the headphones
That's
on.
true. That's true.
And you got the headphones on, so nobody talks to you, so you can just groove around. And I think he said he found a few things that were worth some money, you know, like
well, it's a
not
hobby.
much.
And if anything,
Mostly change. I think it's mostly
Yeah.
change.
But also it's exercise. I mean, it's a hobby that could, 1, be prosperous, and 2, get your hopes up. And it's exercise.
And no matter when you see those people, everyone stares like, is he going to find? Like when it starts going beep, 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 beep.
You know what?
I've had a guy to actually move my towel. And I'm like, if there's treasure under where I'm laying, I'll be so pissed.
Oh, I'd pull a Goldfinger, man. You know, there's the
move
golf
your
ball
towel?
come through the leg.
Yeah.
You fucking
I would
moved-
I would throw a doubloon down my pocket and go, "Oh my god, I found a doubloon!" Every day, someone would see me winning.
Oh man!
I think there was a video guy who like dug like a trench, and he thought he was picking up something, and it just ended up being his steel toe boot.
Well, they're never gonna find.
His steel toe boot.
Have you
That's
watched Curse of
special kind of
Oak
stupid
Island?
right there.
yes, it is.
You guys ever watch Curse of Oak Island?
No.
No.
It's a show on History Channel where they're looking for something buried in the ground. They're 4 seasons in. You're not gonna find it, guys.
Oh
It's like
yeah.
chasing Bigfoot.
Isn't it like a pirate treasure
Yeah.
or something?
Oh, it's like a
yeah,
Viking
yeah.
treasure up in Newfoundland.
Right,
And it's like, why can't you just dig? And they're like, well, the water. I'm like, every episode, it's like some new startling. And I'm like, quit jerking me off. And there's a new show. And then there's a new show where they're looking up something else. and that guy's sponsoring them. I'm like, you're the last person I want near my treasure hunt. You are not qualified. What have you found?
Here's what I want the show about the treasure hunt in about the third episode when you know this shit ain't never going down, and while he's looking for the treasure, Bigfoot walks behind him. Right. But
That'd
the
be
Bigfoot
funny.
show never gets Bigfoot.
No, those dudes are never there.
They never get Bigfoot, but the treasure hunt show gets Bigfoot.
That's
and the
funny.
Bigfoot show finds a treasure.
And they're not even impressed. They're like, God damn it.
He don't know where the treasure is. Crazy
Trying to say-
bastard.
No, I would love. You know, it's funny. I want to see them find something and then get robbed 30 seconds later. Just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
By like pirates or something.
we found it, and you just hear hammers cocking. No, we found it.
No, we found it.
What kind of mugger are you that you stalk the guy with the metal detector?
Yeah.
You just kind of stay with
patient
him.
one?
Very patient.
Yeah, you got nothing to do.
no high expectations.
Well, shit. Did you guys ever see the new the new Coen Brother movie on Netflix?
No.
It's like 6 little vignettes, and one of them's called The Prospector, and it's Tom Waits. And for 15 minutes, he's got no dialogue, but he's prospecting. And you watch him do this whole thing, and then he finds it, and then lo and behold,
The guy shoots him.
the guy shoots
I
him.
saw that.
You saw that?
Yes.
And then he gets him back, though.
Yes.
Oh, I was so mad because I'm watching. I go,
Yes.
you did not just wait 15 minutes.
Yeah, he shot
to
him, but
shoot
he
him
didn't.
in the back.
Yeah.
And I was like, he better come back and get that dude.
He didn't kill him.
No,
Right.
yeah.
That was great.
Mr. Pocket.
I got to work with Tom Waits once.
Really?
Yes. Back in the old Memphis days, there was a bar there. We've talked about the Ritz. The Ritz and Lafayette's music room, they were the big music room. Lafayette's was the big one. But the Ritz was open for a few years. And about a 400-seat theater. And we had Tom Waits. And I'd heard of him and heard a little bit, but this is the 70s now. This is like
Before his-
1977 or something
Well,
like
I mean,
that.
his first 2-3 albums are beautiful.
Right.
Like before his voice.
Well, you know
went
what
to
I heard
shit?
of Tom Waits is because Ricky Lee Jones popped during that time. And Ricky Lee and Waits and a couple other people, musicians, you start hearing about them when she got famous because they were
Yeah.
all out of that same New Orleans
Yeah.
bunch, you know. But Waits did one of the coolest things, and when I say this, consider it's 1977 when this is happening. It was him and a grand piano. And then he had a 5-piece band, but they were in the dark. You never saw them. They were in the dark, you know, on the back of the stage. And the only thing else that was on the stage was a lamp post, just a big old street light lamp post right in front of the
Now, was that
the
his
piano.
design or yours?
That was his. That was his thing, right? So about halfway through the show, he starts playing this song. And while he's playing, out walks this drop-dead gorgeous redhead in a long, you know, just the stereo red dress, slit up the side, you know, the pumps. And, I mean, she's smoking hot. And she just walks out and stands by the pianos, just checking them out. And he's just singing to her a little bit and then not paying attention to her, you know. And then he's not paying attention to her. And she's kind of flirting. He's like, ah. So she walks over to the lamp post and swings around a little bit and then just kicks one shoe off. And then kicks the other shoe off. And then here comes that dress. And she strips down
Holy shit.
to just a G-string and starts dancing around the pole.
Topless?
Oh, totally. I mean, all she's got is a G-string on. That's it. And she's basically, the whole deal is trying to get his attention, right? And it was hot. Oh, God, that was hot as fuck. And she only came out for that one song and then left. But you think in the 70s, to go see a music concert and see a woman strip nude, you know what I mean? I mean, even today,
That's progressive for
that's
sure,
pretty
yeah.
ballsy. You
Pretty
know what I
ballsy.
mean? Because nobody knew that was going to happen, including the owners. I mean, nobody knew he was going to do that. It'd be like if you decided during your set tonight,
Had a couple
Strip
strippers come out.
naked.
Yeah.
have a couple of strippers, have a girl. You know, you get a girl up on
Could you
stage
please
out
do
of the
that
audience.
for-
I need a volunteer. You bring her up,
Eh.
and she ends up stripping totally nude, and you act like you don't know that
It'd be
she's
the last time I'd be at McCurdy's, I promise you.
maybe it might be you'll be back in 3 months.
All right, my whole set tonight is just trying to. Can someone please show
someone.
less
I mean,
than titties?
let's put it this way: Pam's not here, so you're not totally shit canned
There we go.
yet.
Good. Good. As long as
Except for it'll be an 85-year-old woman. And I don't
Yeah.
know.
Is this good for you, son?
I don't know if we're ready for that.
titties are titties, miss. Let's see them.
Titties and titties.
You wouldn't be booked back if you
Hey,
stripped
man,
naked in a
we're.
G-string.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. If he stripped down in a G-string naked, he wouldn't be allowed
He'd
back.
sell tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would. We were watching the Billboard Music Awards last night. God, how many music fucking awards are there?
A lot.
It's unbelievable. But anyway, it was pretty good. Everything was good. But at the end of the show, they had Paula Abdul come out. And we're like, wow, where has she been?
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't know she's the only woman that's ever had four songs maybe go gold or platinum in the same year or something like that. I don't know, some shit. You want to think Paula Abdul? Because I never really thought of her as she's a dancer that can sing.
Yeah.
Not a singer that
Yeah.
dances a little bit, you know.
Right.
She's
More
a
of a
great
showman,
dancer.
yeah.
Right. But she came out and we looked her up. She's 56 and hot.
Right.
Hot. I mean, we're going, man, nowadays with all the medical shit you can do and
Yeah.
stay fit.
Yeah.
Man, you see people in their 60s. I mean, I'm 63 and I'm a motherfucker.
It's true. Yeah. That's what we say every time.
Yeah.
Think about
That
it.
Jennifer
Les is a
Lopez.
real motherfucker. I don't know if you're saying that word correctly.
I know.
Because how we use it.
Jennifer Lopez is one
Yeah.
that,
It makes no
God,
sense.
She is
Bro,
hotter
they must
now than
sleep in
ever.
like baby
I
blood.
think so too. I've seen women. We were talking about the country woman, the redhead that does all.
Reba McEntire.
Reba McEntire. We were talking about she's better looking now. You look at her pictures of her when she was 25 years old. She's way better looking now than she
Really?
was. Yes.
Well, when you have a skin doctor, all these people like the nutritionists, all that, you're eating.
Regina King, all this, yeah.
Yeah, man. Hey,
They're going to Germany a lot for some reason.
getting your boy tranged out.
Yeah.
I got it.
Dealing with some
Hey,
German.
by the way, I just did my
geneticists.
Facebook Live.
You did?
Yep.
How'd that go?
I think it went tremendous.
It's weird seeing you with a selfie stick. though.
First time we've done it is. It is.
So
And it's first time without a hat, so made
yeah.
my eyes pop.
Right.
But so first time 1,100 views, I think.
There you go.
Last time 1,600. So I'm
What's your
This
goal
time.
this one?
2.
60
I want a
million.
solid 2. I want to jump up to $2,000.
2
Oh, I thought you meant two, like just two.
No,
It's 2.
1,600 this time?
2.
Yeah. 2 people.
Piss them off.
Yeah. No, I heard your last one had no sound for half of it.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah, it was
silent
funny.
movie for the first
Yeah.
several minutes,
That's so funny.
and it still got more views than the other one did. They obviously
They
like
like
me
you on mute.
better. Yes,
But think
They
about
look,
how
it's
many.
less and you can't hear them. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Better.
Think about how many people try to like fix their volume on their computer or their phone, like turning it up,
Yeah, that's
and
the funniest
nothing's
part.
there. Like at least
We should
out
put,
of the
You gotta see
1,600,
this.
at least 500 were like, man, the speakers aren't working.
You gotta see this, man. That's Mccurdy, and you can't hear him.
I just had to do it on Instagram. I made fun of him my entire set when I was in South Carolina because he's like 19. I just made fun of him. And he just told somebody, some kid in South Carolina goes, tell somebody to come to his friend to come to the show here. He's like, this dude's the funniest dude I've seen. I'm like, I just made fun of you. That's all I did. But the young generation, they want to be about them so much
Yeah.
that they love that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this generation's. It's not fair. They're all egotistical, but it's just what it is when you're not in show business and you have your own Instagram, Twitter. Like
Yeah.
you have this cult of personality you almost create.
Yeah. Oh, of course. So
So
well,
ego comes with that.
Well, don't you know that? I don't know about you. To get into comedy, I always said if I ever knew how bad I was in the beginning, I would have never. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
100%.
But we all had this sense of confidence
Right.
and this awareness of ourselves that was so off kilter
Yeah.
that we thought we were way better than we were, and that's what kept us going, And I think all these people that are on, that create these things on Facebook and all this stuff, in their own heads,
Oh yeah,
You
no, I
know.
was telling. I'll say this in the podcast,
Yeah.
but a lot of LA comedians, they got more amazing pictures than bits of themselves. You know, I've seen,
Oh, of
I've
course.
seen someone's IG, and I'm like, oh, you're photogenic as a motherfucker, but I performed with you.
I
You're
know.
focusing on the wrong thing.
We were laughing the other day.
That's so
we were.
That's not an indictment on anybody. I'm not
No.
judging or passing judgment.
We were with some friends, actor friends back when I was in theater and this, that, and the other. And Pam and I both are theater graduates at college, and we were looking at all our old resume shots.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how we labored over getting the right resume shot. But of course, that was it being airbrushed, and I mean everything to make. I go, none of our headshots look like us.
not
Oh
real.
yeah, no, my
No,
headshot,
we
I
all
don't have
look
that many-
beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's
Oh, yeah,
ridiculous.
everybody has. I mean, I don't have that many teeth.
You know.
I mean, who has that many molars?
Oh, I know. I know.
I know when I got my first set of headshots, like professionally done, like when I was in LA, they came back and I'm like, my teeth aren't that white, and she was like, yeah, I know.
I know.
Yeah.
I had to polish them. I was like, shit.
Yeah, no.
It's
but the thing about it is,
misleading,
you
though.
walk in, you know, a casting director wants someone to walk in that looks. It's the same as posting a picture on Tinder that
Oh,
looks
it's-
way better than you, and you walk in, and the date goes, well, that ain't.
Yeah, it's
that's
not
not them.
it's catfishing.
Well, it's the same way with it's the same way with a casting director. They called you in, they looked at your thing, they go, oh, this guy might be right, and then you walk in, you go, this ain't even fucking close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Or it's like
I think the
20
worst thing-
years old. It's like
Exactly.
I've opened up for comics. I'm like, oh, cool. This guy's like in his 30s. We should click.
You
And I
see
show
his
up and he's
headshot?
65.
Yeah.
Every
I'm like, that's a
headshot,
30-year-old headshot.
If I ever see less of the mustache, I know it's an old photo.
yeah.
every headshot should take place like right after you wake up in the morning after a hangover. You know?
Yeah,
Just a
I was always
realistic
like that.
image
Yeah,
of you.
well, at
This
least
is the worst I can show.
Yeah.
up.
look,
exactly.
look at least exactly the way you look.
Yeah.
Just
On your
kind of
worst day.
normal.
On your worst
Yeah,
day.
yeah, and then tone it down a little bit. Where when they walk in, you're like, wow,
You look better.
you're
than-
way
You
more
don't-
attractive.
You definitely
than
don't
your
want them to
headshot.
look and go, well, I've gained weight.
Right.
The last thing I ever wanted is when a guy looked at my headshot and go, okay, yeah, you've put some weight on. Good for you, bud. I'm like, ah, have I?
Yeah, that's the goal, right? That was the goal.
Have I?
Yeah.
Thank you, person I'm going to talk to for 5 minutes. Thank you for ringing the other fucking 23 hours of my day.
I'm just going to use your headshot as mine. So when I show up, they're like, wow.
Long story short, Fitbit.
Yeah. Fitbit.
The Kino diet.
The Keno diet?
Yeah.
I think it's keto, not
Oh,
keto.
I don't
Keno's
know.
a game your grandmama plays.
Keynote diet.
I'm on the Keno diet. I sit and smoke cigarettes and drink.
There is keen. What? That's a game.
It's a game.
Gambling
It's a
game.
bad gambling game.
Yeah,
It's
it's
unfair gambling.
It's the
game.
one
Yeah.
you play when you're
That's the
getting
diet
a
I'm on.
milkshake at the snack bar.
Yeah.
That's the diet I'm on. I gamble so hard I can't eat. The Kino diet.
Is keto diet? Is that the?
It's intermittent fasting. All kinds of
Is
other
that
stuff.
like what it is? It's a
ketogenic.
fasting thing.
I think it's a lot of fasting, yeah.
Ketogenic. It's putting yourself into ketosis, which is fat soluble as opposed to carb soluble. So you're burning fat as opposed to carbs because you're not
Oh.
eating any carbs.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's the only way to
So you're eating meat.
basically
All
it's
protein.
pretty much, and it's like it's the only way to gain muscle and lose fat at the same time. There's
you
no other
hosting?
way to do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
How much time are you doing by the way?
20ish.
20-ish. Okay. So 45 minutes. All right.
Yeah,
Split it
20
up.
to 50. You know me. right in there, sort of, kind
That's a
of.
sweet spot right there.
You know.
Well, I got to run to Bradenton, so I'll be right back by the time.
You'll be- no problem.
No
You're
problem.
good shape. Good shape. I'm not even going to ask why you're running to Bradenton.
I just picked a city.
Okay.
don't
Could have
know.
picked Sarasota, but no, you get.
What's in
There's
Bradenton?
more opportunities in Bradenton, and you're correct.
What is Bradenton? Where is Bradenton?
Oh, Bradenton and Sarasota butt right up against
Yeah,
each
they
other.
do.
They're- Really, it should be Sarasota Bradenton. We should be the twin cities of Sarasota
Yeah,
Bradenton
the twin
because they're
sisters.
really one. You know, I mean, for our business, we draw as many people from Bradenton as we do from Sarasota, and how it grew up was Sarasota grew up as the more high end because Ringling came here, and so there's a little more, you know, aristocracy that.
Yeah, it's
and
like the twin-
Bradenton kind of became the working
Right.
class, you know, that you know was servicing the, you know, that kind of thing. But now they're just kind of. I mean, I would definitely say Bradenton's more down home.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little more down
I like
home,
to
and
say it's like,
Sarasota's a little more lofty.
Like the
you
twin
know.
sister cities. Like one is a sorority girl, and the other one went to a lot of fraternity parties.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one drinks martinis.
Yes.
Keg party.
The other one's hunch
Yeah.
punch.
That's right.
The
The other one doesn't
shotgun
care
and-
what you give her.
The other one's
Hunch
shotgun and
punch.
Pabst at a gas station.
I like that hunch punch.
Hunch punch.
Punch, punch.
I haven't had hunch punch in years.
You're good.
That's good. You're doing good in life.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
There was a
You
there
made
was
it
a
in a
guy
trash can.
back when I was in college. One of our buddies in college, their parents got divorced when he was like and he lived right in Memphis.
Right.
When he was like a junior or senior, towards the end of his college career. Parents got divorced. They both went their separate ways, and they just left him the house
Yeah.
with a pool. So all of a sudden, we got a buddy who's got a house
And a
with a pool.
Party Central.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
And so it was Party Central, and there was a guy who hung out there, and he was probably
35.
35 ish.
Yeah.
You're right. And he was an accountant, but he was a stone cold drunk, man. And he made this shit called Dr. Dole's Drunken Material, and we had to warn people, like seriously, don't, because what it was those little cans of pink lemonade, frozen, that you're supposed to use like maybe 5 cans of water to the 1 can of concentrate.
Yeah.
Well, he would take 3 of those cans, a 6-pack of beer, and a bottle of rum. And because that pink lemonade stuff is not watered down and it's so concentrated, even with all that beer and rum in there, you only tasted pink lemonade.
That's dangerous.
Duh. I mean, we were even smart enough to go, somebody could seriously end up in the hospital
Yeah.
on this shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Damn.
that
also-
was
also
that was the
have-
strongest concoction I've ever.
Also heavily acidic. That's hilarious.
Hunch punch. I've had a lot of those.
Hunch punch.
That was like the best.
So I
You
was
just drink like Skull vodka.
Ugh.
You just dump 2 of those in there.
Yeah.
I remember I went to one of the football players on our high school team's party, and he was black, and theirs was called Jungle Juice, and I thought that was hilarious.
Jungle juice.
Yeah, it was their hunch punch.
That was also a name of. We also sold when I was at a porn shop. We sold that as video head cleaner. It was called Jungle Juice.
Yeah,
And they were poppers.
yeah. No, but it was here. He had the bowl. I was like, "Oh, you got
Rush.
hunch punch?" He's like, "No, this is Jungle Juice," and I'm like,
Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds
same
about
thing,
right.
bro. Hooch. The pour me a glass.
"The Jungle Juice did taste stronger, though."
Yeah, they knew what they were doing.
Man, we should have dressed up for this, Chris. Look at Les right now. Those damn shoes,
I
the
earned
jacket.
my fucking shirt. I don't know why I forgot in the car. I'll go get it in a minute.
Gotta look good, man.
And he has a hoodie under his jacket.
I got a hoodie.
Yeah.
Oh, right. That's how I play
You
it.
should put the hoodie
That's
on
how I
your
play
head.
it down a little bit, man. I'm gonna put the hoodie up.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. That'd be so funny.
All right, I'm
If
gonna
you
go
go
get my
out there
shirt.
like
I'll be
that,
right
people.
back.
Now look like something weird's going on.
Yeah.
I even need a profile whenever you want.
For the rain.
Yeah, you look like the former owner of Mccurdy.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Thank man.
All right, so 20 to 50 minutes. All right.
Why do you ask everybody's time?
To avoid what happened last time when you didn't know when he was getting off, and you like scrambled
Oh, yeah, yeah.
because it happened to a lot of people. They were like, "Is that? Are they getting off?" And then they run across the room, like run into the mics and stuff. It was so funny.
Well, that's what makes this a real podcast. There's
Yeah.
no editing. There's no
It's just
nothing.
on the fly.
This was happening in the green room.
Some people need to prepare.
You know how many
Yeah.
times where like 3 minutes before they're supposed to get off, I gotta pee, and I'm like, oh god, and you just dart because I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't hold this for 30 minutes.
Nah.
It'll probably happen here.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
All right. Is he going to get his shirt? All right.
I guess so. No, I don't think so.
He's not.
Not right now. I don't think.
Was he? He's going to go prepare.
No. He might be using the bathroom or grabbing like a Coke or something.
Oh, okay, cool.
Maybe he is gonna go get a shirt though.
I don't know. I think you should wear the Captain America shirt. I think it looks pretty, or the Captain Marvel shirt.
I thought it looked good.
Nobody's gonna get it in that audience, but still.
He told people he was gonna say it was Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. That's terrible. All right, Les is getting up right now. Start the clock.
Let's see. He said he'll be right on 20. We'll see where.
Yeah, right.
All right, 45 minutes from now, we're still waiting.
Yeah, that's not possible.
But,
Oh, shit, man.
your stuff was good last night.
At the open mic?
Yeah.
I felt weird. It was for the listeners. We do an open mic every Wednesday after the main show, and this one dude brought in like 30 people.
I was wondering why it was so packed. I'm
Oh
like,
my
man.
god! And they were all from like Lakewood Ranch, which is like this really upper class part of the area, and I had a hard time vibing with them. But yeah, it was.
No, I think you crushed, man.
That was like,
How did that one comic do? The one I was taking under my wing. Felix.
He went up and he got some laughs off of just kind of being silly and like acknowledging that he's the only black guy in the room.
Yeah.
And then he kind of got like a little frazzled, and then he like got off for like 2.5 minutes. So.
Oh really?
Which it's a first timer, you know.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen tons of times, you know.
Yeah, the first time my first open mic ever, I prepped for my 5 minutes for like 2 weeks, and then
Yeah.
as I'm walking up to the stage, the guy meets me halfway, and he goes, "You got 2 minutes,"
Oh.
and I'm already like, "What? Like,
Damn.
it's my first time ever, man. You're telling me to cut my time," and
Wow.
I ended up doing like 3 minutes, but yeah,
Good for
they're
you.
running back on time, so he just decided to cut. He knew it. He goes, I brought like 15, 20 people out. There's like 50 there, so I got half the crowd.
What a dick.
And he goes, "Oh, this is first time ever coming on stage." He brought out a lot of friends, and everyone's going crazy. And then I walk up, and he whispers to me, "You got 2 minutes." I'm like, "What?"
Man, trying
I
to
was
mess
so
with your head.
yeah.
Wow. See, we don't do that. We just try to put the guy that brings the most people like towards the end of the show, so at least they stick around for everybody.
Yeah, which is smart. Oh, he did go get a shirt. Good call.
Oh, nice. Good
That was
stuff.
fast.
I can't get to come to the office.
He ran. You were talking about the open mic last night, and this first timer went up.
Yeah, I met this guy outside. He's like, "You're a comic, man?" Because people were telling me like, "Good show" and all that. I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Any advice for a first timer?"
Quit.
Yeah, and I was like, "Have fun."
Yeah, man.
And he's like, "Look at all the stuff I wrote." He's like, "Can I read it to you?" And I'm like,
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
want
gonna
to."
save you this.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt less now than it will later.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Don't walk up to a random comic. Can I run boots by you?
Yeah.
We're not part of a special club.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to do
You're not.
anyway. Yeah.
Well, it's like, would you walk up to a middle manager at a company that you just started at the ground floor and go, "Hey, I have some ideas I want to pitch you." It's like,
Right. Yeah.
go back to the mailroom, trash.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's
Exactly.
hilarious.
You know?
And it was nice to see that. He's super enthused and stuff. Like you could tell he was
Yeah,
on
when
a
you still have
serious
hope and
high.
dreams.
Like when he got off, he had a serious high, and he was just
This
like, "I'm
business
so
will take all
inspired."
that from him, so
What's that?
this business will take all that from him.
Yeah, it'll.
That's what I mean. When you still have hope and dreams and the twinkle in your eye.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
What's he doing out there?
He said he's doing 20 exactly, so we started a timer.
Yeah.
Can I take the over?
It's like
Are we
the
gambling on this? Because I'm going to take the over.
it's like that guy who betted Tiger Woods. We were talking about that earlier. Guy is insane. He betted. I don't know if you saw it for the PGA Tour.
No.
There's some man never made a bet. Some bookies turned him down because he didn't have a betting history.
Yeah.
He bet 85 grand, and it was I think it was like 42 to 1. I don't know the math on it, but it was a lot.
Yeah, Tiger wasn't a favorite at all.
Yeah, I think it was 42 to 1. He won 1.2 million dollars.
That's awesome.
So people are like, "Oh yeah, well he had 85 grand to bet." I'm like, or he was going through divorce, lost his house, lost everything, and he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna take a damn lien on the house, and I'm gonna bet 85 grand on Tiger."
That's funny because he went through a divorce, so kind of like hates women. So like Tiger Woods
Yeah,
is like his
yeah,
his
that's
idol.
the story I want.
I'm
They
gonna
don't
bankroll
know.
The guy who needs it.
They won't know. They don't interview him or nothing like that. They just know that
That you won
some
it.
man made the bet and won.
I wonder if he had to pay taxes on it right then and there.
But I want him to do just like a 30-30 special. It's just
30
like
for 30?
Yeah.
Just his life.
Yeah, and he's like, "Look, man, I was going through divorce. My wife's damn lawyer's taking everything, the 2 cars, the house.
Yeah.
I'm in
She
a
left
bar
me with-
drinking at 1 p.m. and I
Yeah,
saw Tiger.
she left me with 90 grand.
Yeah, he's like, I don't even know golfers, but Tiger sounds like a badass.
Yeah.
So,
I was betting solely on name.
yeah, just
I almost picked Bubba Watson.
yeah.
That's the story I want. One of us should do that bit tonight because that's kind of funny concept.
Yeah. It's all you, buddy.
Really?
Ride or die.
I forgot what we're talking about. So your mind has a better grasp on than I.
I don't know. I made you guys laugh. That should be.
Yeah.
I go out there and just eat it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Fuck Tiger
What makes
Woods.
comics laugh and what makes audiences laugh out there are two
Yeah.
different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just go out there and trip a couple times. You'll be killing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh, last night they were laughing at me, grinning at them, and giggling faces at them, and I was like, "Oh, you guys are easy." We have 170 in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did we have last night?
Like 145, something like that.
Also, a little more, just
A little
not
bit more,
much.
yeah.
The people that walked during your set will still be there now.
Who walked during?
I'm kidding.
Kid? I don't think anybody walked in.
No.
It's so funny though, like when you see people leave a show, you're just like, oh god, you just hope I mean, like as a feature, it's nice because maybe like they liked you over the headliner, but like if you're the headliner, people are getting up and leaving, like, what the fuck's your problem? What'd I do?
Yeah.
But some people just go, hey, I'm paying a sitter, and I've had enough show.
Right.
I
I'm
can
tired.
Yeah, I can leave a movie
Yeah.
whenever I want. So why would a live show be any different?
Right.
Yeah.
They don't think about it. Well, what about that guy that was right up front last
Dude,
night?
okay, so apparently he just I was chatting with via Instagram. The girl was at the show, and he just said he was like, I guess, in a bad mood. He didn't like the show up to that point,
Right.
and just wanted to leave, but didn't want to make a scene about it. And I mean, I was like, you did. He's like, he did make a scene, like he
Just by not
just
moving.
by being uncomfortable and just sitting there staring straight ahead, like it's like, bro, you smell like an active shooter.
Yeah.
Like you're a bald-headed white guy who looks like he has multiple pictures of him in his swords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Just caressing his
I
swords.
thought he was blind because like I made like a
Line
crowd.
to fucking humor.
No, so
Yeah.
I did crowd work and he was staring straight ahead and she like nudged him when I said something and he just stared straight. But it was like a little bit
Jesus.
off from where I was standing, so I was like, oh, this guy's blind, so I like left it alone.
He kept saying, "Who are you?" to me. Had I not just
That's some funny ass shit.
Yeah, because like I mean, he wasn't being rude. He was like just staring straight,
You're
and
like,
she
"Oh."
nudged him and she's dying laughing, tapping him.
Yeah.
And I see him kind of like shrugging his shoulders. I'm like, he's not really looking at me. He's looking to the left. I'm like, oh, he's blind. Like he's just listening.
Did you talk to his lady or something? Is that how you got the backstory?
Yeah.
Wow.
Last night was
She
so-
apologized
Yeah,
after.
she's like, "I'm sorry." I mean, that guy just either was in a shit mood or whatever we did on stage represented something he didn't like.
He came in a shit mood, from what I understand. So it was just one of those.
They should have kicked. I mean, honestly,
Well,
had he not been like that way, like had I started talking to him later in my set, I probably would have gone after him harder.
right.
But because it was right as I got up there, I didn't want to lose the crowd by they don't know who I am
Being
yet.
a dickhead to him.
Yeah, because he was like, "Who are you?" You know, in my head, I'm like, I'm standing above you with a microphone on a stage.
Right.
Better
Right.
question: Who the
He
fuck are
said
you?
that. He said
Yeah.
that to you. Who are
Oh,
you?
I made that assertion later on, and the crowd loved it.
Right, but you had to
And
establish
and
yourself
that-
first.
Yeah, in that moment, I couldn't have got away with that line.
Right.
I would just sound like a prick.
Well, it was kind of funny because every comic went out there and then immediately, like Les was like, "This guy does not want to be up here." Like,
See, well, I
the
didn't
first
notice
thing
that
he said.
because we're back here, so we don't.
Yeah.
He talked to him without knowing I talked to him,
yeah,
and I kept it short. I just made like a joke, like, "Oh yeah, sir," like
Wow.
you did it, and he didn't look at me, so I was like, "Oh, he's blind. Let me just get off this."
right.
My joke was, I was like, "Oh, I'll just spend my time on the other side of the stage."
Yeah.
And I peppered in a couple smaller jokes, and I was like,
So,
"All right,
yeah.
I'm just gonna move on from him."
So
Yeah.
then
And
he
he got up
started.
and left, but when he left the room got more. The show got better.
Because the awkwardness was
Bro,
gone.
because let's be honest, the dude who shoots up something is a fucking white guy who looks just like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we all want to not
No, yeah, he did
admit
look-
it or not, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's the dude that comes back in
With a gun.
with a
right.
gun.
Yeah.
You hear that, America? It's
Yeah.
fucking white people.
It's white people. What did he look like? Did he have like a
He-
pony?
Bald-headed,
Yeah,
buzz.
and-
Hey, he looked like Bull from Night Court. Does that help?
It does.
Yeah, he was bald headed. He was like bigger dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he looked like he was about as soft as a little pack of donuts.
Yeah, but he looked like he just,
Tall.
like you said, collected swords.
Right. You don't need to be jacked up when you can shoot
He's
a whole
that dude
fucking.
that takes pictures of him like holding two pistols that crossed over like
Right.
like he's, you know, Agent 45.
Right.
You know, it's like dudes like that go back to their car and start crying and fucking show him. I got a
Yeah.
little dick. I'll show everybody how fucking small my dick is. I'll gun everyone down.
Yeah. Damn.
You hear that, gun owners? People are ruining it for you.
Yeah. Stop coming to comedy shows and being weird.
Or just
For
grow
real,
out
that
your
guy- honestly, that guy
hair.
should have been kicked out 5 seconds in. You know.
Well,
But you
yeah,
can't, you
that's a
gotta-
tough one, right?
His girlfriend
hard-
stayed though and had a great time.
Yeah.
We've had people
She
that
bought merch, I thought. Or
She
gave us
did
money.
and gave us money.
You need to stop taking those
Right.
tips.
I am.
It's my money.
No, I am.
Your legs are so strong.
But people, it was weird. People were giving it to me too. Here,
Good.
they're splitting
Who
it. So I was like,
cares?
whatever.
Take it. Take
I
Yeah.
made a joke about I don't have any merch, but you can hand me money.
Dude, I had a
Aw,
fucking.
yeah.
Here's some shit. I had. I won't say who, but there's a club booker in Florida. He no longer has rooms, but I heard this story secondhand that a comic got tipped like $50, and then when he got his check, it was 50 light, and he told the comic,
Wow.
"I pay you, not the audience."
Interesting.
And I'm just like, one, my respect for that dude went off the phone. I mean, my respect for him was very.
Was already
It
kind
was
of.
already waning.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I was just like, "Oh, you're a complete piece of shit," and that's why you lost all of your rooms and you're back on the road.
A greedy pig.
Doing
Yeah.
hypnosis. I'm giving you a lot of clues here. A lot of clues here.
Hypnosis.
Yeah, which is, if you do hypnosis, guess what? You failed as a comedian.
Yeah.
And I don't care what you think or say.
Yeah.
Because you know when you go to bed, it's true.
I'm gonna hypnotize you into thinking I'm a good comic. That's
I have never
awesome.
been hypnotized. I think you have to want to be that weak.
You never been hypnotized?
No,
I've never been hypnotized, but I've also
I
never
also
like.
don't believe in propaganda. That's why I didn't vote for Trump. And he's getting into some real good topics.
right back into it. Holy shit.
Wow.
Sorry if this is upsetting anyone.
There's nobody's listening right now, so
Good. We're just recording.
yeah, just recording. I wish this was live. That'd be so funny.
That'd be the best.
Yeah, right.
Oh no, you don't got to. It's all right. Your voice is in it.
Yeah. Wow.
Where's he at?
He is at
Yeah, because I might have to use the bathroom before I go up.
11:47.
11:47.
I should probably go up. Just
Go to
go.
the bathroom. All right, we can pause it for a little bit. It's fun.
Or we can just keep talking.
No, just keep going. We hung on while he was gone.
You're right. Fine. Go pee.
At 5
I
minutes.
just gotta
You're
slide by
trapped
his
in here.
lap.
You're
This is gonna look super homo.
Well, luckily this is an audio podcast.
You wear jockeys, don't you? Like just like child underwear.
It's
I wish I was that pretty.
child underwear that won't fit me.
Yeah, get underoos.
Need some gold bond to go with those fucking things. Fuck that.
Oh, my girlfriend got me. It's like Gold Bond, but it's like a deodorant cake version. Goes on your crotch and on your
Are you
balls.
serious?
Yeah, it's a little hard to apply, but it fucking works.
Really?
You don't get all nasty and swamp crotchy and
That's
chafy
awesome.
at the end of the day. You're like walking just like,
Yeah.
so much, somehow sweat and lube is down the.
That's a godsend. Holy shit.
No, it's amazing, especially when I'm in this hot, murky state. That,
Yeah. You're based out of LA, right? You're going
yeah, I'm from Florida originally, but I
from
live
Florida
in
originally. Where from Florida?
Gainesville.
Gainesville. Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny because I'd never worked here as a feature. I only worked here as a came in and co-headline my first time. I met Wes at the Comedy Catch in Chattanooga,
Really?
and yeah, he comes up. He's like, "Hey man, great set.
Yeah.
My daughter wants to buy one of your T-shirts," and I was like, "Cool, I'll give it to you if you book me." And
yeah.
then when I go to hand him the shirt, he grabs it and I go, "Book me within a week."
Wow.
And he's like, "You got it." Within like 4 days, I got an email from Bronwyn. And
Wow.
she was like, "Hey, yeah, we'll have to come in as a co-headliner and test you out." And I was like, "That's fine, because this crowd's a little on the older side, so
Yeah.
I'm happy I came through twice as a co-headliner before I got to get bumped up."
Right. Just get a little feel for the room and stuff.
Yeah, man, it's nice to get to have that feel where I don't have to go up and be the main attraction, and
Right.
I can go up and be half of the main attraction. The audience,
It's like a
And
soft,
yeah,
like entrance.
soft entrance.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. That's smart that they knew to do that for you too.
Yeah, it was, because I think Les knew my act, and I think he knew my act at that point. It was a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Okay.
So since then, I've written another half hour of good material. So
Right. Now you do it, no problem. Why do I do that?
yeah, it was funny because last night I was like, "Oh, I could do an hour and 25 in front of this crowd." They were
Right.
fine.
Yeah.
So
They were digging you for sure.
yeah, they were great, man. And like, if you take out that opening with that guy, I think my set would have been a lot. Even my set would have started a lot faster.
For sure. Yeah, that guy.
You'd have old Weirds McGillicuddy.
I never saw his face, but I was just standing in the back of the room and he was making me uncomfortable a little bit.
He just had that kind of like, "I don't want to be happy. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here."
Yeah.
It's like, bro, then get the fuck up and leave.
Have you ever had something like that before?
Dude.
Never?
In 14 and a half years, no.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's... Have you ever had someone like last night? Vinny?
No, the suicide bomber?
Yeah.
The suicide bomber?
The school shooter?
The school shooter?
Ball prowler?
You can sit in that.
Yeah, it makes more sense.
Get the
Instead
big
of trying
chair.
to jungle gym through me. Nah, man, it's just, I don't get it.
No, the guy last night, yeah, that was weird. Like, I've had, obviously, drunk people or hecklers, but...
I would
Yeah.
have rather had someone that wanted to physically fight me versus
Yeah.
a dude that just looked like...
Yeah.
I felt bad last night. I had just started going up for the open mic. I don't know if you caught that. Some lady was like, "Oh, like go get him, Big Red," and I was like, "Oh, my first heckler of the night." I'm like, I can't even see the bitch, and I didn't mean it to be like I didn't want to say bitch, but it just kind of came out of me. And then like later, she's like, "I'm so sorry. I did not mean to like throw you off or anything." I'm like, no, I was just looking for effect. Like, I'm sorry. I thought like I lost the audience a little bit just by calling her
Man,
a
it
bitch.
really wasn't even a heckle. It was encouragement.
Yeah.
Go get him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just heard Big Red.
She-
though. I didn't
I've
hear.
got, I've got get off the stage, fat ass.
Yeah, that's a great.
That's
That's
the
something
heck-
you can roll
that's-
with.
Yeah, no, it's not. When you're 19, it cuts you like a deep
Yeah.
blade.
She was actually, like, supporting him. It's her
Yeah.
favorite
And I'm
comic.
like,
She's like, go
"Fuck
get
you."
him. And he's like,
Dirty
shut up.
twat, how dare you?
Yeah.
Talk during my set in the middle of a bar.
I just heard Big Red though. That's all I heard. I didn't hear like it didn't sound supportive. You know what I mean? It sounded like a observation more than anything. What are you doing? Are you fucking with
Yeah.
16 minutes and 30 seconds. I still say he's gonna go over.
I don't
me?
know.
You don't think so?
I saw him. I checked the clock when I walked it back in, so
He was looking.
he's looking to see where he's at.
Is he? He's like, I got another 30 minutes. Sweet. That's what he's doing. He's like
He's
"Yeah."
just settling in. Oh, I got plenty of time.
Well, the funniest is when he'll go on vacation, and then he'll come back the first night, and he's hosting, and we're all just like, all right, we're not getting out of here for a while, because he just goes as long as he can, like he stretches it, because he's been away for 4 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he loves it, man.
Yeah,
He
he
literally built the whole damn comedy club. He loved it so much.
Just to have, just so he can get some stage time.
Can you imagine loving like crack so much you just build a crack house and you just
I
start?
don't think you really build a crack house. I think you take a regular house and
Yeah,
just let it
and just-
dilapidate.
Yeah.
Into like, you know, like
Transform it into a
Yeah.
crack house.
it's not a fixer upper. It's a terror downer.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how crack works. Just ruins everything good.
Can't pay the bills and there's crack to smoke. Did you pay rent? No, I bought crack. Have you not been to my crack house? It made Vanity Fair's top crack houses last year in
That's
in Soho.
it should be like one of those TV shows, you know, where they do the fixer uppers.
Flip my crack house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take this and turn it into a crack den.
I'm gonna tweet that.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
yeah. Thank you, Vinny. Good God, you set my merch up once for me, and it's just fucking.
He
I
expects
did.
so much.
Bro, I spent so much time on it and he destroyed half of it. I was like, no, this doesn't look good. Let's put it like this.
That's not what I said at all. None of what he just said was accurate.
I've done that before. I
But I
set
won't
up.
argue with what he said. But I won't disagree.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
know, but you're talking about the sketches you're writing for tomorrow. Why don't you pitch something like that? Like a remodeling homes, but it's just like a like
Yeah,
you're just like
thank you.
some hillbilly, like get her done. Like I got a meth lab house.
That would be funny, like just those characters, like because they're all like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go in here." And
Yeah, yeah,
and do this,"
yeah.
And then they
we
show
got,
up, and it's like,
yeah, like
oh,
Susan and
fuck.
Steve have $300,000 budget, and
Yeah,
they're gonna
yeah.
buy
Oh my
this.
God, we do? How much meth can we buy with
yeah,
that?
exactly.
No, you have to go to Lowe's and get stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Lowe's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna spend 10 grand on the house and the rest on drugs.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't look like you guys did anything.
Yeah. We got a hot tub.
yeah, yeah, just like a hot
You
tub and
taking
like a
it
bong. There's a hot tub and a bong.
There's a hot tub in a
Oh
ball.
my god,
Look
bro,
at
that'd be the
our podcast.
funniest sketch.
That would be pretty
Golly.
funny. Like, and then just accidentally rolling up with some crackheads. Like, oh shit.
Are these your workers? Nah, they just friends.
Yeah, but they'll work for crack.
No, it's because they're holding copper pipes. Are you guys? You guys are putting in copper pipes? Yeah.
Kind
Yeah,
of.
we're putting them in.
Yeah.
We need more of them.
yeah.
Order some more from Lowe's. Yeah.
That's hilarious, bro.
I'm surprised that's not something. That's got some.
That's a good spoof. Like,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
but like you need like good quality. Like the whole.
What was that one show? It was like America's Home Makeover or something like that.
No, there's a bunch of them now.
But it was the big one where the guy would like move the bus. They'd be like, move
yeah,
that bus.
yeah.
Like that guy, because that guy's personality would be so.
But that's what I
it's
mean.
So,
Like you're like the host. There's
so
a host and everything.
conflicting, so
Yeah.
contrary to like a crack den. Like,
Yeah, like they
him
won
trying to be
the grand
enthusiastic.
prize. They get $150,000 to remodel.
Yeah. Like, can we get that in cash, please? That's funny as shit.
Oh God.
Just
We're
some of the
giving away
magic.
too many good ideas on this podcast.
Some of the magic that happens in this podcast, guys.
Yeah.
He's got 3 new premises.
Yeah.
He's got a new.
At least we could sue him
sketch.
later on for help writing it. You know?
Yeah,
If
exactly.
it
I
does
have
blow up,
recording.
be like, bro, we got the podcast. We talked about that there.
It was a think tank, wasn't a podcast.
Yeah, you're tweeting it as we speak, man.
He really is. He's on his phone
We're
tweeting this
writers.
idea.
We're writers.
Yeah.
How about instead of flip this like crack house, it's a flip the house show, except they're just crackheads.
So crackheads are
That's
flipping
what you
houses?
could do it that way
No,
too.
it's more of a you do the sketch in the sense of it's just a parody on like it's the flip this house. Literally, they come up to 2 crackheads,
Yeah.
and they're like whatever producer was supposed to find the right home,
Right.
found crackheads
On accident.
on accident.
Right.
So it's just this guy's like the host is like, so yeah, you guys have $300,000 of the budget to fill it.
Yeah. And they're like, yeah.
That's so much crack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
how
you
much
have
is
to
crack?
Spend that money on the home. Yeah, yeah, we do.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you can have the pipes. That's like maybe
No,
it's-
the copper pipe thing's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, we're replacing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And the good thing is, like with the sketch thing, is I can just walk in with like a couple half flushed out ideas. As long as there's like a boat, everybody else can get in a row. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Like
If
we
I'm
just
writing, as long
did
as you
right
come up
now.
with something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a
I
premise.
mean, you could spin it
and
both ways, you
Yeah.
know, but
It could either be flip this crack house.
Yeah.
It could be a bunch of goofy crack jokes, or it could be flip
Yeah.
this house. And oh my God, we have crackheads.
yeah.
Yeah, we didn't realize they were crackheads.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't matter. It doesn't.
They stole all of our equipment and
That's
shit.
what I mean, yeah. Or like you do, it looks like a regular family, so you find a house and then
Right.
you do like the weekly update, you know, all right, here we are a week later, let's see the progress.
Right.
And they took all the copper, they took,
And it's the exact same exterior shot.
that's what I mean, they took
haven't-
everything.
they
You're like,
haven't
what'd
done-
you?
and- oh my God, the front porch is gone.
Yeah. The wood,
Yeah.
the copper, the
And
wood.
then somebody walks by. You know how much nails can get you?
Yeah. Yeah, the tile, the granite's gone.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
funny.
God, that is so damn funny, bro.
Oh, I got 3 good sketches plus whatever ones I have on my computer that are buried.
Yeah, right.
I have to go through my old laptop and look.
Are you pitching something soon or something? Or you got...
A buddy of mine has a pitch with FX for a sketch show, and I'm gonna help him write some
Nice.
sketches.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's whatever. You know, just go there with that good attitude and ready to work.
Right.
It's gonna be a busy day.
How's that work? They just have like teams of writers, I'm sure, like ready to receive that.
Well, I think
I
I'm
mean, I
up
would assume if
soon.
you're pitching a sketch show, you already have.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Yeah, let's see the over-under. Oh.
22
Money.
minutes.
Should have bet on Tiger Woods.
20.
See you guys.
All right, guys.
Please have a good set.
Vinny's gonna go up and
Yeah, man. Have fun up there.
yeah. Of this year? It's May 2nd. All right.
You got 22.
It's pretty good.
Maybe 23.
Told you I took the over.
You were right. I'm taking the over on me. As a matter of fact, you take the over on me, I think the odds are shit. 5-4 or something.
With you, it's even money.
I know.
How are they? Pretty good? Yeah.
They're very nice. I didn't look how many were in there,
I'm gonna
but
tweet this.
I'd say $1.50.
It's
Maybe a little more.
these are two dudes that got banned off Facebook today.
What's that?
Alex Jones, Louis Farrakhan, and Milos. Basically a bunch of hate mongers.
Oh yeah.
And then I just put I took their picture. I just put it above it. Name this band.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, well, it's about engagement, and also it was just funny when I saw those three pictures. I was like, this looks like the worst lounge act ever.
Yeah. Alex Jones is a nut.
They all are, man. Farrakhan's a fucking nut. I mean, they are to a point. Anybody that goes out and advocates and preaches violence or crazy theories and perpetuates and creates a divisive attitude, you're damaging our society as a whole.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry. Especially Alex Jones, though. Him and that other guy, Milos.
He's a fear monger too. He's
Yeah,
just
oh, absolutely.
Now what's his deal?
conspiracy
Jones?
theory guy.
He's a conspiracy theory guy.
Very convincing because he's smart.
His biggest thing,
so.
he's the one who said that the kids at Sandy Hook were actors.
Oh right.
Yeah, that
Okay,
human
yeah.
piece of garbage.
You gotcha.
Yeah, and then you like try to redact that and be like,
Oh yeah, well
yeah.
he had to say in front of a judge that my show is for entertainment purposes only. I don't consider myself a real news outlet.
But that's
Right.
a conspiracy. So yeah,
Right.
like it's bullshit.
Well, I mean, it's just what's so crazy is that people buy into it. It's not crazy
Oh,
that
they
people
do.
say it. It's what's crazy is that people buy into it.
I mean, seriously,
There's like-
but there's people that think Hillary Clinton has a pedophile sex ring that's ran out of a pizza place out of D.C. It's
Oh,
like,
right.
And
Yeah.
there are people that go, yeah, I believe it.
And they
I
show
mean,
up,
I believe it.
and they
Obama's a secret Muslim, and
Yeah.
Hillary's a child. I mean, it's like, bro, you out of your fucking mind.
dude, that guy showed up to that pizza place with a gun.
Oh, yeah.
and was like,
Yep.
Where are the kids?
Where are the kids at?
Yeah.
Where are the kids at? And it's like, you want the pie?
Yeah, this
No,
guy's
I know.
crazy.
Calzone?
No, there's some horror story. Like this one guy would listen to
And they all get to vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy, one guy would listen to Alex Jones all the time. He was convinced that the dollar was going to collapse at a certain time, like in 2014. He went out, spent all of his savings in his 401k on an alpaca farm and a self-sustaining farm. Like divorced, got all of it, like completely changed his life because he believes this guy. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
Completely. No,
I mean, look at
that's
Jim
his
Jones.
fault.
All those people that moved down to fucking wherever Jim Jones's cult was at.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All those people. They're people that are just. I mean, P.T. Barnum said it best. He's a sucker born every minute.
Well, there's
Yeah.
just a lot of people that are lost. They're just lost.
They're looking for something.
They're looking for somebody. You know.
Yeah.
Well, you know
there's
what?
Buildings on every street corner.
Well,
in
that's
America
it.
looking for the same people.
Well, there's always going to be more sheep than leaders.
Right.
You know what I mean? You just hope that your leaders are good. You know,
Yeah.
good people. And you know, it's if you get the right group of people and you're pretty bright,
Right.
it's pretty easy to take advantage of people.
Oh, for
you
sure.
know.
Or if you go out and dog whistle people's underlying,
Yeah.
feelings and emotions, and you come out there and say, "Hey, I'm your guy for that."
Exactly.
Then we have what we had 2 years ago.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What was it?
absolutely.
I remember when I was in high school. My teacher, I was getting frustrated, and my teacher goes, "Listen, human beings, if you get 100 of them, no matter if it's 100 or 100 million, 10% are extremely smart, 10% are extremely dumb, and 80% are in the middle somewhere."
80-20.
Yeah.
80-20 rule fits on just about everything. You know, I it's like over the history of intelligent man, of anything we can call modern mankind. Maybe take it from Greece forward. You know,
Right.
You've had a small group of geniuses who have developed technologies
Right.
that move us, that leap us forward. And then, of course, they develop it and then they dumb it down to
So-
where all of us
Can use it.
can use it. You
Yeah.
know, we don't know how a telephone works. We don't know how a TV works. I mean, you know, really,
Right.
you couldn't make one on your own. You know what I mean?
I know this professor on Gilligan Island. He could do
Yes,
anything.
he was.
Well, it's
But
like
you know-
Sir Isaac Newton when he was writing all of his theories and his books, he was doing the opposite of dumbing it down. He was making it the literature as difficult as possible to understand and read, so he could contain the knowledge. That's what was his like philosophy about that.
Well,
He didn't want dumb people to understand his work. Like,
Well, and I wonder too is like because back in that day too, sometimes you had to watch being listed as a heretic with your. I mean, like.
If you're
and by the way,
science-
today is Leonardo da Vinci's birthday. I think because I heard the
Is it
NPR
really?
was all talking about
Nice.
what
Well-
he did.
I will build my own helicopter.
Yes, and the fact that they really felt like they were comparing that Newton and Einstein were these gifted geniuses that took society a step. They said, they did, from what they knew about Leonardo da Vinci, and it was according to NPR thing, that he wasn't particularly an amazingly like a gifted genius mind. He was just extremely creative and extremely curious, and he didn't put boundaries on himself.
No, yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Back to your point about the heretics things. Back in the day, if you came out and your science fucked with the church's thoughts,
oh yeah,
they'd burn you, they'd outcast you, they would do whatever they could to keep their control and power.
Well, Galileo, he
was under house arrest.
Well, that's right, because the world's round, and no, the world's flat.
How about the fact that it's 2019 and people still think the world's flat?
Well, I know, but you know what I found out when I was over in Florence and we were taking the tour and everything of all that stuff. What come to find out was that the hierarchy of the and it's the Catholic Church at that point, right? And the hierarchy of the church, they knew he was right, but they couldn't admit it. They couldn't admit it to the general population because the general population would have gone crazy. So they couldn't admit it, even though they knew he was correct or had a good idea he was correct. So that they just kind of squelched it, and they were talking about in those days, if everybody wanted to be buried in the church, inside the church. That was the big thing, was to be buried somewhere in the church. And the bigger deal you were, the more, ornate your place would be in the church. And Galileo, when he died, they took his body and they did bury him in one of the churches in a certain place because they knew that they knew how great he was.
Right.
But they couldn't. We won't say anything. We'll keep records somewhere so that we'll be dead and gone, the guys that did it, by the time they find out what we did.
Anybody hell to pay is there.
Exactly.
I read something interesting about how the reason why the Catholic Church came up with no meat on Fridays is because when they did, they owned half the fisheries in Rome.
No fish on Fridays.
No, I thought it was no meat on Fridays.
No fish. Oh, is it no meat? So
no
they only
meat.
eat fish.
It's good for.
Oh, right.
Which
Okay.
would make sense if you own half the fisheries.
Gotcha.
It's an economic decision.
Oh yeah.
It's not a religious.
Yeah, but they use.
They said because it's easy to go. God said back then.
Yeah.
I mentioned this on stage. I go 2,000 years ago. If you said God spoke to you, they'd be like, "Oh, you should write a book." Nowadays, if you say God spoke to you, they're gonna stick you in a fucking underground baker at you.
Oh yeah.
I don't understand what the difference in time is. I mean, like.
Or supposedly we're more enlightened.
I would know, or we just were easier to talking to crazier people back in the day.
You don't have. It's like you wonder why nobody pops up in this day and time.
Yeah,
as a for real prophet.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't. I don't know.
There are. There's this one guy.
I think it was just easier to be a con man back in the day.
Oh yeah.
No, but there's still these.
Oh, there's a dude. What was it on John Oliver? The guy thought he was literally Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but he has like 300,000 followers, not like Instagram followers,
know,
like
but
people
I'm
that come
saying,
out to see this
out
guy.
of 7 billion in the world, that's less than 1%.
Well,
so
sure.
I
get it. Yeah.
Like you said, there's a sucker born every minute. There's
Sure.
gonna find 300,000
People are still trying though. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They're always gonna try.
Right.
They're just not getting as much press because we know they're full of shit.
Right. Well, something that you said earlier, you said it's 2019. I can't believe people still think the world's flat, and that's an interesting concept because there has been a flat Earth society for a long time, but it's not that people still think the world's flat. It's like they are. This is a new thing. Like they are. There's a certain subculture that is now accepting that the world is flat. It's like new information. It's not like old information. They're going. They've been lying to us this whole time. And it's
Since
all
what,
conspiracies.
67 they've showed photos.
So
of
where's
space?
the edge?
Exactly. There's an ice wall. That's their answer. Antarctic ice wall, and you can't go
I've
past
flown
it.
over Antarctica.
Yeah, exactly. They're grasping at straws on every turn. But the flat Earth society does nothing to do with those conspiracies.
Bad religion song.
Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Like the flat Earth society is a bunch of dumbasses that congregated and were like, the Earth is flat, the globe is a lie because they're trying to take away our belief in God or something like that. And then the flat earthers are just fully down the rabbit hole of conspiracies. I'm talking crazy, it's insane. And it has nothing, the two are not even.
All right. What's the one conspiracy you believe?
I don't think there's anything that's deemed a conspiracy that I mean, I'll tell you what, the one that I believe could be true, Loch Ness Monster.
For real.
Prehistoric animal.
Maybe. That one I could maybe.
Bigfoot.
Maybe.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot makes
Are
sense.
those conspiracies though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they conspiracies? Not really. They're just
I mean,
like
nobody's ever proven. Nobody's
Right.
ever even
It's
come
a mystery,
close
and a mystery's kind of a conspiracy. I
to
mean,
proven. I
well-
mean, that could have just been something that somebody made up.
I think
and
Oswald acted
story.
alone. I think I don't trust the U.S. government to be smart enough for 9/11 to pull it off as an inside
Yeah.
job. I think we didn't have the security set up. Up until 9/11, no one had ever hijacked a plane to use it as a weapon.
Right.
Before. So I mean, like, there's a lot of firsts. I think the dude who
There's a lot of
taught
weird
those
anomalies,
Saudi guys
though.
how to fly a plane and didn't turn them in when they said they weren't worried about landing. I gotta go, bro. That you gotta be brought up on criminal charges.
Well, they were
If
2
I'm
or 3
teaching-
of them. 4 of them were, I think, were trained down here in Venice.
they're
Trained in
they're trained
Venice.
Florida. And I was
Yeah.
like, but like they were like, the guy goes, yeah, they never asked about landing. That didn't send off any fucking red flags.
well, that is a conspiracy though. Like, I know it doesn't sound like it, but those people conspired to attack the United States government.
Oh, no,
Whether
but
whether the
the
government
the conspiracy theory is
right.
The government was directly like controlled
but
demolitions
people
and
have
shit like that.
people have been conspiring
But
forever.
there are people that saying that the planes didn't. Even, it was an optical illusion. The planes.
Oh,
never
that goes
flew
deep.
In.
That goes
Well,
deep.
I think when you look back, almost every war
Started
since
on
World
false
War
flag.
One,
Started with
there's
an
a
attack.
conspiracy theory that government started them for the money and for
Well, but those-
Gulf of
and-
Tonkin, they say may never have happened. They said the Manila.
did it- no, that's
remember the
been-
Maine that got us in the Spanish-American War. They said more than likely it was carrying munitions that just went off,
well,
and they blamed.
it's called
they
a
blamed-
false flag operations, right?
Yeah. Sure.
So the Gulf of Tonka
'cause,
was declassified as that was bullshit.
Absolutely.
They sold it to the
Well,
American
because,
people.
well, no, but also Kennedy almost threw out the entire CIA when they brought in a false flag for him to like basically, hey, it was going to be a terrorist attack on U.S.
Yeah.
soil. Go ahead and cut him. He's doing too well. I don't need that heat.
No, but like
Setting them
Gulf
up
of
to be
Tonka definitely happened. But also, what was the one that sparked World War? Was it World War One where they sank the?
No, that's the Spanish-American War. They sank the Maine.
But they also
Oh, War One's the Lusitania.
they sank the Lusitania, and it's like Germany took out ads in New York Times telling Americans not to get on this ship because they were headed directly for their waters. Like they warned everybody they were going to sink the ship 2 weeks before anybody set foot on that ship. You know what I mean?
and they weren't told.
No, they just didn't listen to it and they ignored it and they sent it right there on purpose. Like they knew it was going to get sank. Like that is so. Like when England and France used to get in, back and forth in wars back in their day, most of their leaders they would hire people to spark a war, to like go attack a village and behead everybody in there. We'll blame it on this guy. We'll wear the same garbs. And we'll have a couple witnesses say that it was this. It's
Sure.
It's like the oldest trick in the book. So
Well,
I don't
it's
see
a
why
way
we
you
wouldn't
keep
do
your
it.
thumb.
Yeah.
Back then,
Gotta sell
what was
war.
interesting when fact on just keeping your thumb on it was that I'd in college, and I think I learned this at one of my classes, that in kind of medieval England, the king, the way he kept that one level down from rising up to ever get to where their equal could challenge him, the dukes and all that kind of stuff, was that he would have an extravagant party 4 times a year.
Right.
Everybody was expected to be there. And so you could never wear what you wore to the last party. So in other words, what you wore was a big deal to show
Stature.
your stature, right? So the amount of money it took just to go to those events.
Oh, it's like the U.S. and Russia. We just made them spend themselves into poverty.
That's right. Well, you keep them. They're not.
Under
You're
your
not
thumb.
spending them into poverty, but you're spending them to a point where you're
They
keeping
can't- they can't
control.
rise up against
Yeah,
you.
they can't accumulate too much money.
Right.
By doing things like that, and also starting conflicts and stuff like that that
Right.
they have to be involved in. It's just all ways to keep your thumb on everybody.
Rome would do the same thing before when they did have a senate, like an actual senate. They would have to conspire to sell war to invade this certain part of the world. Like you had, because they had to vote on it, like just
Right.
like anything else. Like so, like you can't like under a dictator, I assume that he doesn't have to do much selling. It's like iron fist, motherfucker. We're gonna go attack this country.
Sure.
But when you have a republic or a democratic republic, it's like you have to sell them a war, and like you're gonna use some fucked up means to do so.
And they sold us on Iraq.
They did.
They sold us on it, and it was that was criminal. It was criminal what happened.
Even if there's a 1% chance that they have it, you know what I mean. We have to
that
go
was
in.
that was a total criminal.
Yeah.
The fact that people didn't go to jail for that is unbelievable.
No one ever gets
shows you money and power. Man.
Afghanistan, we needed to go there.
Yeah.
You know, that was the problem. But Iraq, that was
Iraq was
that was a money thing.
That was a money grab.
It was a money grab.
I watched a cool documentary with Nova about the JFK assassination. Speaking of conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And it really put to rest the grassy the forensics of the grassy knoll couldn't happen. They said like the science
the forensics of it.
Yeah, because they're like, well, what about this bullet? And it's like, well, they showed a bullet over distance yaws. It means it slightly curves up.
Sure.
And Nova was granted access by the Kennedy family to see his autopsy. So they computer generated his skull together and did forensic tests with like ballistic jelly and stuff that wasn't available 50 years ago. And they're like, yeah, Oswald completely did this. He completely got because the Warren Commission even admitted he got those shots off.
Does it matter who shot Kennedy?
No, but they're saying like it was a massive conspiracy. There was multiple shooters.
Well, because all these things happen. Like if you really look at the timeline of when he died, there was a couple of things that he was trying to do that were fucking crazy. He was trying to get rid of the gold standard, or he was trying to bring back the gold standard. Realized he couldn't do that, so he was going to try to make a new silver currency. You can actually look this up. And he was also trying to rid of everybody of the Federal Reserve.
He was also attacking the mob,
and he was attacking the mob,
and he was attacking the mob, with other people that were connected in the organized crime.
Right.
I think there was a lot there that made the most obvious reason.
There's a lot of reasons to kill him.
Well, no, I saw a documentary on the New Orleans
not good
mob
ones,
boss,
just reasons.
And he goes, the reason why he killed Jack was because if he kills Robert, the presidency comes on you. If you kill Jack, you cut the head of the snake off, the tail dies.
Right.
And Robert lost power. Like that.
Well, they killed him too. But
I like how that was some Manchurian candidate shit though. When they talked to Sirhan, he's like, I don't remember anything. And it's like, I believe in more of a conspiracy against Robert Kennedy's death than I do JFK's.
hey, I was
Oswald
watching.
shot at other people too. That's what people don't realize. Oswald shot at other people.
Yeah, he was trying to, but
I was watching television when Jack Ruby killed Oswald.
Also,
I was watching the TV.
You watched
yes,
it happen.
My mother was in the bathroom getting ready to go somewhere. She was putting her makeup on and stuff, and I'm sitting there just watching it, and let's see, that was 1963, so I was 8 years old.
You saw
so I'm old enough.
That's so
and
crazy.
And I watched it, and then I remember running in to my mother and going, they shot him. And she's like, what are you talking about? I said, they shot him on television. They shot a guy, And
it's crazy they had that kind of access.
Yes.
That he had that kind of access, but he knew a bunch of people. Ruby knew a bunch of
people.
people.
Yeah, he was successful.
I have a hard
time
time believing, I just shot him because I was mad.
No, apparently Ruby knew the cops. Ruby was like quasi-mob.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
He was able to get himself in there.
Yeah, and it's all real. But what about Operation Northwoods? And I know everybody talks about Operation Northwoods.
I know.
It's a big popular.
The one thing that gets me about Oswald was they didn't figure out Kennedy's route until 3 days before he got to Dallas.
Right.
Oswald started working there 6 months before. So there's a lot of okay.
It's just weird.
Well, it's like, but if the CIA put him in there, why would they put him in there 6 months before if the routes were only picked 3 days before?
Yeah.
The CIA wouldn't have had that information.
But do you think Oswald did it on his own, or do you think somebody paid him?
I think he was a part of some sort of organization.
I think he was paid.
Well, he was also in Russia for a while.
Yeah, he defected.
I think somebody paid him.
He defected.
For sure.
I don't think he was just some lone wolf out there.
No, that makes no sense.
I think he was the trigger man.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I never really cared who shot him. That was never the amazing mystery to me. It was more just the motive.
The why. Well, for sure.
But I
think
there's so many things that he was trying. He was such a nuanced president. It was, you know what I mean?
Also, if he hadn't have done it, then they would have proven that eventually. That's why they killed him. I think that's why they killed him, because he was the trigger man, and Right. We've all seen the movie where the guy's like, the job's done. No, it's not. pop, pop,
Yeah,
pop.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Right,
because that's the guy that did it.
Right.
If he didn't do it, then he'd be like, "Well, I probably have an alibi. I have this. I have that. Because if you didn't do it, you can prove in some way you didn't do it.
Yep.
Get him off. He's killing.
No, you
You're a
want
funny
him
guy.
to kill.
I do.
You don't want
not.
him
I
out
wanna
there being.
dig out of a hole.
You don't-
I want to go out there with a
being
shovel.
quiet.
I want a backhoe to get out of my problems up there.
You have nothing but killers in front of you at Mccurdy's.
I know.
Nothing but killers. Yeah. Who was it? Eric Meyer was here. And Meyer. And
Yeah.
I can't remember who was in front of him, but he was just. He was.
Vinny.
Was it Vinny?
Yeah, Vinny did our first podcast. Or no, I'm sorry. That's
No,
not
it
true.
wasn't Vinny. Was
Eric
it?
Ward?
It was.
Who was? Yes, he was.
It's
He
over-
he left the green room and came back to me and he goes, "How am I gonna follow this bullshit?" You know, he wasn't mad. He was just being. I said, "I think you'll do fine." Of course,
my
he
God.
just walked
As soon
him.
as he walks out.
Oh, within 2 minutes, he had him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He just bombed him, man.
You want your future to do well, but not too well. That's what everyone. That's what I don't care. Hit that ball as hard as you can. If I can't fall, that's more of an indictment on me than you.
I can't
You
think of the
know,
person.
the thing that I remember when I first started headlining, I thought, the transition from opening act to middle act is not much of a transition. You're just doing more time. And so I thought the transition from middle to headliner would be the same thing. And I remember in that first year, several times, I mean, when it really hit me where I go, if the whole show sucks up to me, like nobody's getting a laugh, I have to save the show.
Oh, I gotta hit 5 home
If
runs.
everything in front of me is smoking killer, I have to top it. I have to go above it.
Oh.
And boy, I remember it was like, wow, there's more pressure to this
Yeah.
spot than I thought it would
you
be.
can look at your future and go do whatever you want.
And,
I have to do what I have.
But
to
then
do
I
it.
went, the only thing I got control of is what I can do. I can only do what I can do. I'm going to go out there and give them 100% no matter what.
Amen.
I'm going to do
Right.
the best I can. And I found that over the years, I would rather have a killer show in front of me than a fucked up show in
Oh
front
yeah,
of me.
well, I want to hear them laugh because if he's doing that, then I'm
I
gonna
used
do that.
I used to do shows up in New York, outside of the city, where they pick you up, catch your rising star, and your opening act's your opening act because he had a car, and your middle act is barely an opening act, and so for the first, 40 minutes of show, it's literally two guys just pissing. Not only bad, they're pissing the audience off because
the
they're
worst.
doing bad, and then they're taking it out to where literally I would go up there and go, ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, little disclaimer: everything you saw before this was not stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Not even close.
No.
From here on out,
We're gonna have fun.
you and I are going to have a good time. We're going to laugh. We're going to enjoy the rest of the evening. Everything else, take the rest of that shit out of you. And I did it in front of the two comics. I had no problem doing it in front of them. I'm the closer.
I feel like you just walk out like Alfred Hitchcock. Like, this has been a happening.
Yes. Because,
been a
I mean, I had
test.
no problem telling those guys going, what the fuck did you just do up there? I mean, Jesus Christ.
It's okay if one of you sucks, but you guys have to do it in tandem.
Well, I mean, you go up there and suck for 10 minutes because
Yeah.
you got a bunch of fucked up material, and then you spend the next 10 minutes cussing out the audience and telling them they're stupid.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, how fucking stupid are you?
That's so funny.
But I've like I say, I got enough of that to where I go, nah. All right, your turn.
Let's go make some money.
All right, good luck,
I'm gonna
Chris.
make the donuts.
I know you don't need it, but good luck.
Thank you, bud. I'm gonna take this out in case we have another issue.
You should come out behind him and just like look like you're gonna hit him in the head with it. You should come up. You should.
Bro, it's a great crowd.
Yo, come out there and just look like you're gonna hit him with it. That'd be funny.
It is a great crowd out there.
Yeah, you did great, bro. I didn't hear one of your jokes, but I heard the laughs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some big laughs.
Yeah, I could hear him. I think the people that listen to this can probably hear the laughs.
I'm just trying to convince Chris to take me on the road with him.
He'll do it. He'll do it.
We're the perfect 10. I'm skinny. He's a 0 looking shape. I'm
Yeah.
a 1.
Yeah, y'all won't step on each other's shit either. So
Yeah.
You got big laughs out there.
A lot. I just told him it's a great crowd.
I know. Chris was sitting there towards the end. He goes, get him off. He's doing too fucking good. I
Yeah.
said, no, you want him to do good. I'm going to walk out and watch the first of his show because I didn't
Oh
get to
yeah,
see
yeah.
it.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Conversation podcast here at McCurdy's Comedy Theater. Please go to our website at mccurdyscomedy.com for all of our upcoming shows and events. Also, follow Vinnie Ward on Instagram at I'm a Stand-Up Guy and on Twitter at Vinnie Ward. That's VINNIEWARD. Also, check out Chris Cope. You can go to his website at chriscopecomedy.com to check up on all of his touring events and details. And please keep listening. We appreciate all the love. Thank you.